Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're going to be doing a deck profile for Heretics, and it's a very good deck, and I feel like it really does have a chance against the meta. As long as Red Eyes stays at, 2 or 3, this deck definitely is viable. If Red Eyes does get hit, though, it will kind of hurt the deck, because making this card is very critical in the deck to basically OTK your opponent. Even, like, through Gords, you can OTK, and it is pretty insane some of the stuff that you can do in this deck. If you draw Red Eyes, you basically, like, win, as long as you get your play off. So let's get right into the deck profile, and I'll explain why I'm playing some cards. You guys might wondering why I'm playing them. So first off, we're going to start off with Lesser Dragon number 2 and Wattail Dragon, because if someone gets rid of, your Wattail Dragon with Chain Disappearance, because it will come out with 0/0, yeah, it's not realistically going to happen, but I mean, might as well have 2, just because it's variety. And make sure you always go for Wattail Dragon when you're going to get it back, because Wattail has 2500 attack. Next up, BLS, because everything is light, literally, except for, your Red Eyes, and, I am playing, like, 2 Crow to help out with, like, the Dark count, but everything's really light, so it makes it pretty easy. Next up, 2 card Ds, it just sets up your cards for the combos, it gets you your MSTs, because MST is really needed in this deck, because when you get your playoff, you basically win. When you're under the effect of Max C, you probably want to end up going for Photon Strike Bouncer, and you want to end your turn, because you'll have to special summon like 20 times the same turn, and your opponent will end up drawing way too many cards, and then you'll lose. But if you're playing against a certain deck that has maybe a field spell, then don't worry, just go all in, because obviously they can't drop Gores. But if they do run Tragodia, or it's a deck that could run Tragodia, keep that in mind. But you can push for game as long as they you feel like they're not running Gores, or maybe they already use Gores. You can just basically win pretty easy with that. Next up, we have 2 card D. It's pretty self-explanatory, because you just need your consistency. Next up, 2 DD Crow helps out with the darks, plus it stops up a lot of other decks. Like if you're playing against Mirror Match, this card's amazing. If you're playing against Wind-Ups, it's pretty good. If you're playing against Downer Up, they go Avarice. It just really helps out. DD Crow, overall pretty solid card, and also Inzectors, good against that as well. Next up, 3 Veilers, just because I'm not running any traps personally, just because I feel like you can only run like maybe 3 or 4 traps, and you'll end up getting like like MST, then that's it. Like I really don't like it. I'd rather just play much more hand traps to be able to stop my opponent from doing their plays. Next up, Gores, then 3 a set. And then I'm playing 1 Nebthet, just because if there's a bigger monster on the field, you use this one to tribute to get rid of the stuff. Basically, if you guys don't know how the deck works, basically you need any Heretic plus Sue, and then that basically makes it game, as long as they have 1 back row, so you can tribute from the hand. It's just really simple. I mean, you guys should be pretty familiar with it. I'm sure if you guys want to check out Heretics, that's why you kind of came to the deck profile, to see how other people are running. So yeah, I'm playing 3 a set, 1 Nebthet, 3 Sue, I mean, he's the best. And then we're playing 3 Tef Nuit, and 2 Maxi, and then also we're playing 3 of the Searchers, so this searches out any Heretic. Basically, you're going to go for Sue 90% of the time, though. Yeah, playing 2 Maxi, 3 Red Eyes Darkness Metal, like, this card's amazing in this deck. 2 Tragodia, and if you're wondering why I don't play Honest, I personally don't feel Honest is necessary in the deck, because if you get your playoff, you're going to storm the entire field anyways. I know Honest is a good card, but I did want to just play the extra Veiler. I mean, you could personally, take this out, maybe if you want to play an Honest. I feel like if you're getting your playoff successfully, you basically win the duel anyways, and a much better comeback card is, Dragon's Mirror if they stop you. Or if, like, they Dark Hole you, and they Battle Fader you, and then they Dark Hole you. Dragon's Mirror is just way much better than just having Honest as an answer, because you have so many big beaters on the field that, I don't feel like Honest is necessary, especially because you'll make, 3 of these usually, and, like, you can't Honest with it because it's wind. I mean, yeah, you can Honest with this Wattail Dragon, but I just feel like it's a good card, but I just personally, that's just my personal choice. You guys can definitely try out Honest if you guys like Honest. Next up, we're playing Dark Hole and Dragon's Mirror. This card's really good because, again, it's just, if you go off for your play, and then they stop you, you can just go, oh, it's cool, you can just get a 5,000 beater out, and it's still pretty good. Just have an extra 5,000 beater. Plus, it's another dark, because, BLS is a pretty good card as well. BLS, I know there's BLS Honest, but, yeah, I just feel like this deck functions really good without it, because pretty much they're going to usually torrential you, and that's why I like Dragon's Mirror, because when you go for your huge play, they'll wait for you to go for Gustav Max, usually, and then they'll torrential you right when you go for this card, and then you basically, you lose your play, but then if you have Dragon's Mirror, you still got a 5,000 beater. And I feel like 1 Dragon's Mirror is pretty good. Next up, Heavy Storm, and then 3 of the Searcher, and then Reborn, triple Mystical Space Typhoon, because you really need to get off your play. This is an OTK deck, essentially. And then last up, well, I do play 3 Veilers, but last up we play 2 Duality. Just Duality helps you get into the cards that you need, because if you have your OTK, obviously you have your OTK. You basically only need 3 cards, and one of them just needs to be Sue, and you have 3 of the search out for Sue. But yeah, duality just helps out just to go for those like MSTs to set up, or you want to go for card D or anything to stop your opponent from doing stuff. I feel like duality is pretty good in this deck. If you're wondering what the side deck was, I personally was trying Marshmallow and like the tour guides. The only problem with like tour guide to Sangan, like there's not anything you can really go for. As far as exceeds, I know now I can't make these, but generally you won't make those. Pretty much the only thing you'll need is you'll need 3 Atoms, 3 Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, and then you'll need Photon Strike Bounce. This card's amazing, and you'll probably want Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max. This card's really good. It helps you OTK, and you'll probably want to use this, especially if you're using Dragon's Mirror. You could also opt to play Future Fusion, but personally, I feel like you basically want to draw into them. I guess you could, I mean, these two are definitely great to send to the graveyard because these do absolutely nothing if you draw them, or, in your deck they don't really do anything because, as you guys know, the Heretics can special summon from anywhere on the field, so pretty good stuff there. And I feel like, Future Fusion, I mean, I guess you could start sending stuff that you don't need. It is also Future Fusion because then you can still get out 5-head Dragon, and that card is amazing because it's 5,000. And it's pretty good. And also, no one really reads the other effect, but this card can't be destroyed by battle by earth, water, wind, fire, or dark. So basically, anything that's not light, or I guess, I remember Obelisk is divine. It's not actually light. Like, check this out. I want to show you this. Actually, I typed in divine. Obelisk right here, he actually is not a light. That's actually a divine. Actually, I want to see if it's actually in here. So we'll go to monster, and then we'll go to, I want to see if it's actually in here. Attribute. Divine is actually, let's see, let's, just for fun, I want to see what else there is. Oh, there is. Oh, so all the God cards, Cypher and Raw, and this one also. This card's impossible to get out, but if you do get it out, you basically win. But yeah, so keep in mind, I guess light and divine, those are the 2 things that can destroy this card by battle. But no one really plays divine. I mean, well, Obelisk did see some play a long time ago, but that's not the point. We're talking about Heretics, and I really feel like this is a great deck. And as you guys know, I've been playing it for a while, and I feel like the deck definitely has some potential. As long as Red Eyes, again, stays at 2, I think this could be a very viable deck, next format, especially once this gets printed, because it's, I believe it's a Shonen Jump the magazine promo card, and it will see some play, definitely, as long as this card, again, stays at 2, at least 2. And also, you can use it with Trag. Don't forget about that. Tragodia and Red Eyes Darkest Metal, same level, so you can drop this, and then, if you are able to get out Red Eyes, you can just overlay for Gustav Max, in case this card does go to 1, which, some people are saying it could be. It could. But, yeah, this has been the deck profile for Heretics. It's a pretty good deck. Just keep in mind, basically, the combo is get Sue. Like, you want this card the most. That's your important card. And then you can... this card's also one of the best. I'd say that, and then you need any Heretic in your hand. So basically the play is summon this guy, special summon this guy, because he's like Cyber Dragon. If you your opponent controls a monster and you have nothing, as far as monsters, you can just special summon this, and then you send this to the graveyard to special summon Sue from your hand, and then since this card was tributed, you get to special summon Wattail Dragon, and then with you use Sue's effect, you tribute 1 Heretic monster in your hand, or your side of the field, but generally in your hand, to target 1 spell trap card your opponent controls, and you destroy it. So you're going to tribute any of these Heretics, or, these basically count as the same thing, because you just search out your Heretic, unless Thunder King's on the field. Thunder King kind of hurts his deck a bit, but yeah, then you're just going to tribute any one of these from your hand, and then since this, whatever Heretic you tributed, it's considered a tribute, and then you go for another Luster Dragon, well, not another Luster Dragon, but another vanilla monster, and then you go these 2 and you overlay for a Tums, and then you go a Tums effect, you get Red Eyes Darkest Metal, and then you use Red Eyes Darkest Metal effect, and you get back one of these that you detach with a Tums, and then you go for another Atoms, and I'm pretty sure you guys should know that, and then this card can't attack, so you just overlay and you make this guy. So basically, I'm sure you guys understand the deck. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm sure someone else will help you out with that, or I'll check this later, and if you guys are confused, I'll try to help you guys out. It's a pretty simple deck, though, and I think it's a very viable deck. You could also run Threatening Roar in this if you wanted to replace some traps, maybe that were like chainable all the time. But I feel like I'd much rather have Effect Failure as an answer versus like Threatening Roar, because if you're playing against Dino Rabbit and they go for, Rabbit, you probably don't want to activate Threatening Roar, because they'll just be like, okay, it's cool, I make Logia anyways, and then I'll just negate once you go for your Tums or anything, and it does hurt the deck quite a bit. But thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.